Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Victory Drive. And this week, we are starting in on all the episodes I recorded in St. Louis, Missouri at the ATA show with WCB and all the boys from over there. We went there, had a great time. This is my first time at ATA, and I thought it was a blast. It was, a lot of the guys were saying that it's a smaller show than it has been in the years past, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty sweet. I got to meet a lot of really cool people. Like today's guest is Trevor Bending from Half Rack and Novix. He's the GM of Half Rack and Novix. And we're going to cover mostly Half Rack stuff and some of Novix stuff as well. So it's kind of a dual purpose episode. But the cool thing about Half Rack as a company is they have all sorts of hunting gear. They have blaze orange vests for us gun guys. They got bow hooks, gear hooks, and all sorts of other shit on there. I'm not doing a very good job. They also have soft-sided coolers that are really neat, some bags, some all the different essentials you really need to have fun out there in the field and have a good time. It seems like a great company. I did pick up a leather rifle sling from Half Rack for my 30-06 that I'm going to take out to bear camp in Wyoming this year, and I might take it to Africa with me. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to take my 30-06 to Africa anymore, honestly. It's a lot of logistics and some extra money to get that out there, but I still might. I don't know. We'll see how it's shooting and how I like it and how dedicated I am to, I guess, take African animals with my personal Ruger M77 Hawkeye 30-06. I'm kind of touching that real quick. I put out a video not too long ago of me shooting it for one of the first times, and I will say I got some Norma ammo and some Federal ammo, and man, I'm not gonna lie, not impressed with Federal. They had at least out of that gun. That gun did not like the Federal ammunition. It ejected like shit, which that's the other thing about this gun. It's been ejecting kind of like shit, which is interesting because it's a controlled round feed, but it's kind of been ejecting like shit. I need to take that bolt apart and check out the claw extractor for it and see what I can do to make that more reliable ejecting and see what happens. I don't know. It's kind of worrisome. But I will say with the Norma Bond Strike is what I got, 180 grain Norma Bond Strike. That shit was zeroing fucking great. Like, it was grouping absolutely great. I was shooting, I think my worst group was just over an inch, but everything else was well under an inch. I shot multiple groups. I think I shot 3 groups of 3 with the Norma, and I just shot the whole box of 25 Federal rounds out of that. And like I said, I don't know, not impressed with Federal. That was 175 grains on the Federal side, and they just weren't grouping very well. I'd get one group that grouped decent, probably just outside of an inch, which is fine for a hunting rifle, I think. As long as you're right around that MOA margin with a hunting rifle, I think it's fine. But I was really, I don't know, I had some very worrisome flyers with that gun or with that ammo, and that was kind of, I don't know, kind of pissing me off a little bit. So like when I say worrisome flyers, I mean like they were significantly off, like outside of my comfort zone as for flyers, just because you start extending the range out there at 300 yards, 400 yards, it really accentuates those flyers. And the Federal terminal sense really were just not doing great out of that gun for some reason. Really not impressed with it. That kind of pissed me off. And I was shooting some cheap-ass Remington core locks as well. And that's why I was kind of using a zero just because it was $30 a box. So I was shooting that quite a bit the day before, and it shot those just perfectly fine. It grouped well with those cheap Remington ammo, and then the Federal Terminal Sense is supposed to be like premium ammo, shot like fucking shit. And then I put the Norma in there, and that shot great. Like honestly, like it was hard to not group well with that Norma ammo. You know, obviously I could have, but you know, even on the shots I felt like I was not perfect on, it grouped great. Like it fell right in within a comfortable margin of error, you know, with that Norma Bond Strike 180 grainers. And so I might stick with that for now. But I did pick up some Nosler ballistic tips. I know it's a little bit of a softer bullet, but I did pick some of them up. And I also picked up some Barnes Vortex ammo. And I'm going to shoot that through it too. I'm going to chrono some stuff one of these days and just kind of get that all dialed in and get my turret cap. Turret dial from Loopold ordered, because I'm going to get the custom dial system from Loopold is absolutely fucking killer. So I'm going to order that and get that all set up and get it ready and start training for bear camp. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, Africa and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. You know, if I get the extractor issues figured out and get that claw taken apart and kind of see what's going on there. It did eject all the normal ammo very well, but it was really struggling with those Federal Terminal Sense. But it shouldn't matter. The ammo type shouldn't matter as far as ejecting wise. You shouldn't have a rifle that that has failure to extracts that often. So that was really pissing me off about this gun. So I just got to take it in and take it apart and get it figured out. So not a big deal. I'll get it figured out. It will be a reliable ass machine coming soon. But what I was talking about is I could put that rifle sling on from Half Rack on that 30-06. My gosh, guys, it looks beautiful. All right, that is one thing I'll say about that rifle. It is an absolute fucking beaut. You know, walnut stock, beautiful walnut stock on it, beautiful bluing on the barrel, beautiful. Just everything's beautiful about it. It's got the Loopold VX5 HD on top. Oh my gosh, it's really honestly great. It's a great looking gun. It shoots really good too. Just the extraction issues, but it shoots really well. I'm very, very impressed with the accuracy out of that rifle. And once I put that Half Rack leather sling on there, that really spruced her up. I'm not gonna lie, it really did. It looks great. It's got the little Half Rack logo on there. If you're into that kind of thing, you know, I don't know. I think it looks good. But I just wanted like a really traditional 30-06. I just feel like a 30-06 is a gun that ought to look just traditional, I guess. It's an old fucking cartridge all the way back from 1906. Like, that's fucking forever ago. Like, so long ago. It's outlived probably everyone's grandpas. I don't know. I'm sure. It's a long fucking time. You'd have an old ass fucking grandpa if he was around when 30-06 came out. So it's a traditional old cartridge that just got better with age as technology has gotten better. The bullets have gotten better, and that has stayed true with 30-06. It's been around forever, like I said. And I do have a podcast coming along the pipeline about 30-06 and just that cartridge in general, because it's a very impressive cartridge. I love it. It's great. It's killed everything known to man and killed everyone it's ever touched, I feel like. It's just a great, great round, and I'm excited about it. Traditional looking 30-06. I really, really am excited about it. So yeah, like I said, brought in Trevor Bending from Half Rack Novix Outdoors. He's the GM over there. Like I think I already said that. So yeah, I think it's a great episode. Like, bear with me on these ATA podcasts. A lot of them are going to have the audio is not going to be perfectly awesome like it is in the studio or something like that. It's going to have a little background noise, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But we're having fun in ATA, and it's a great, great, great time. We had a great media room there with WCB, and we recorded some really good podcasts with some really good guests that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. I'll do my best to clean up the audio, but like the one with Trevor, he spoke well. He's very he articulates his words very well. He's very well spoken. He enunciates all the things. He's got a deep voice. He's great. So I don't think there's any issues with the audio there. But some of the audio might get a little weird in some of these episodes, so just bear with me on that. Just take it for what it is. It's a great time on the road podcast, you know. So yeah. With that said, let us get into the partners of Victory Drive. All right, like always, guys, you know that Grizzly brings you this podcast every week. All right, without them, we'd still be doing it, but just probably a little bit poorer, I guess. So Grizzly's an awesome partner. They've teamed up with me and Victory Drive here right away from the beginning, right from the rip. Grizzly's been there, and they bring to you guys, I think, in my opinion, the best hard-sided coolers in the game. They also have the best drinkware. Doug Schmidt was saying it on one of the working class episodes, and I'm going to steal it. They are the Stanley Killer. Their drinkware is way underrated. All right, I really do believe that their drinkware is underrated. They have awesome drinkware that you guys would really enjoy. So go to Grizzly Coolers, check out what they got. They also have elevated tower blinds and all that good shit. So just check out Grizzly. Use code WCB for 15% off. That is code WCB for 15% off. All right. And new to the show is Black Ovis. All right. Black Ovis is a one-stop shop for all of your outdoor needs, really. They don't sell guns because they're not an FFL, but they have everything else. They have camping gear. They have optics. They have bipods, tripods. They got fucking arrows. They have an arrow ID builder. They have people at the shop that are literally building arrows out of the shop and shipping them straight to you exactly how you want them done. They've got fucking boots. They got all sorts of shit on Black Ovis, and they are an awesome partner. They've I think it's one of those companies that just makes sense with Victory Drive, and they have all sorts of good shit out there. And honestly, for some of the best prices I've ever seen out in the wild. I told you my experience with the lacrosse boot thing. They have really good prices, and they're really good people behind the brand there as well. So check out Black Ovis. Use code VICTORY if you want to save some coin. Code VICTORY, 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 to save some coin on Black Ovis gear. All right, and we also have Mountain Ops. They are a supplement company that also has really good apparel, I guess. I was looking at some stuff. Actually, matter of fact, I just ordered some Mountain Ops shit today because I ran out of my creatine. I'm almost out of my Yeti, so I ordered some Yeti Mode in the Rocket Pop flavor. So we'll see how that goes. Pretty excited about that. I also got some more creatine, and they were sending out some free samples. So they sent me some samples of some Ignite and some Hydrate as well. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, you want to stop being a fat piece of shit? Check out Mountain Ops, and you can use code VICTORY there as well to save some coin. All right, so that's code VICTORY, 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 to save some coin at Mountain Ops as well. So, all right, let's see here. What else do I need to cover? Oh, big announcements here also. Well, sorry, before I get to the big announcement, I got home. I went and took my daughter to jiu-jitsu today. Fucking watched her do that, and that was awesome. Real proud dad moments there. I love watching her do jiu-jitsu. It's a thing that I've always loved doing when I was young, as well as like jiu-jitsu and grappling and all that good shit. And I did that for quite a few years. I did it while I was in the Army for a while. I was a combative instructor in the Army too, but that's neither here nor there. But watching my daughter do that is always a good time. But on my way back home, I dropped her off at her mom's, and then kept trucking home. And I got home, and I looked at my door, and guess what was sitting outside? That's right. It was the new Elite Ethos, dude. Oh my God. I know this is a bow hunting podcast, I'm sorry, not a bow hunting podcast. This is a felon-free podcast. This is a gun podcast, but I do like to bow hunt too. I know I've said that a million times, but man, I am excited about that Elite Ethos. I ordered that not too long ago from the shop, and got to my house, and I'm very excited about that. Fucking saw it sitting out there, pulled it out. It's got that, what the hell is that? Midnight fucking copper, dude. Oh my gosh, that is such a good looking finish. That paint job is immaculate. I love it. It looks great. It feels great too. It's a really nice feeling bow, and it is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. So, yeah, I'm really excited to get that suited up. I've got literally all summer now to get that ready to go. I'm contemplating whether or not to put a dialed sight on there as well, so support the boys at WCB. You know what I'm saying? Here. I might put one of them on there, or I might just be cheap and fucking transfer all my attachments, all my accessories from my my Elite Terrain over to the Ethos. But I haven't decided yet. That dialed sight looks fucking sick, so I might have to get that, honestly. It's pretty damn beautiful as well. I just want a pretty bow. Look good, feel good, are good. You know what I'm saying, boys? You know what I'm saying out there? All right. But with that said, bow hunting is still pretty cool. Also, on to the big announcement, I do have to say, I've been talking about it for a while. Kurt dropped it on episode 600. I am finally starting the solo series. I don't know if it's what you guys asked for. Matter of fact, no one asked for it. But it's something that I thought would be fun to do, at least for a while. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, see how the response is. But I'm going to start doing a solo series and just kind of sit down with whatever topic. It's going to be very topic focused. I'm going to try to keep them right around that 20 to 30 minute mark, maybe even a little bit shorter. Make them nice and bite-sized for you. And you can pop them on, listen to them at your leisure. We have a lot of people out there that listen in their commute to and from work, and a lot of people don't work that far away. They certainly don't work 2-3 hours away and drive that gambit every day. That's pretty rare, I think. But I'm going to start putting out some more content for you guys. I'm trying to kick up my social media game. I suck at social media. I'm just going to be blunt and honest with you. I fucking suck at it. I don't like it. But I do like to talk to you guys. But what I don't like is playing by the fucking rules, because then, god dang, Instagram, I say something silly on Instagram in a comment to one of my buddies, and they fucking say, "Oh, just joking, you're too mean." So there's this reel that WCB put out, and they're talking about deer hunting and stuff, and how Kurt just tells everyone to kill him. As all he says is fucking, don't ever ask Kurt if I should shoot this deer or not, because he's going to say fucking kill him. And on there, I just posted "kill him" with 4 or 5 exclamation points. It took Instagram all of 35 seconds, it felt like, to come down and say, "We removed your content for inciting violence," or something like that. So I challenged it, came back, denied. So I took it to the appeals board. We'll see what happens. I'm probably going to still get taken down and deleted, and my account's probably going to get flagged. I'm probably going to get shadow banned. So if you guys don't see me on Instagram a whole lot, then just check my page. Go to Victory Drive on Instagram and check me out. And help me fight the shadow bans, because I'm sure that's coming next, because this is my second strike in a year. Just saying, it's not even anything that bad. The other one I got flagged for, I said, in response to some random video, I can't even remember what it was, but I just said fucking white people. I'm a white guy, so I figured it's all right. Turns out not all right. That's also illegal in Instagram world. So, yeah, I don't know. I really hope my account doesn't get flagged or shadow banned, but it might. And it probably will, at least at some point in time in my life, which it is what it is. But like I said, trying to do better on social media, trying to get more content out to you guys and interact with you guys as much as I can. So with that said, hope you guys enjoy this episode. Welcome Trevor Bending from Half Rack and Novix Outdoors. All right, Trevor Bending. How's it going, man?
Going great, man.
Going great. Okay, so you're with Half Rack. You want to go into a background on yourself and the company and whatever details you want to get into?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the general manager for American Pride Outdoors, and Half Rack and Novix comprise that. So we just finalized the acquisition of Half Rack. So it was Novix before. Now we added Half Rack to the fold. So Novix, American-made tree stands. Half Rack, a lot of your just hunting essentials. Came on as GM last year. Prior to that, I had my own company where I was doing sourcing, product development, and consulting. Before that, I worked for some of the largest sporting goods distributors in the country and the continent. Worked with Mossy Oak quite a bit and various brands around the country, hunting, fishing. So I'm one of the lucky guys. I turned a passion into a career.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. How did you get into that? I like to ask kind of the origin stories of some people.
Oh, no, for sure.
Getting into the hunting industry, especially, is an interesting topic.
So Midwestern kid, went into Boy Scouts, right? Like so many of us.
Yeah.
Just fell in love with the outdoors. And my dad kind of instilled it in us. Mom did too. And was in college, and my sister worked for REI, Recreational Equipment Incorporated.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I was like, I've been in there a ton of times buying camping stuff and
granola hikers.
Exactly, yeah, right. And I don't fit the mold anymore, right? But she's like, yeah, we got openings. You totally would love it. It was a college job, and I was like, yeah, I think I would love it. And I came into the REI at a time too where it was pretty cool because. Our store, you could wear, sandals, you could wear sleeveless, you could wear a hat. It was just not what you see typically now with REI, but I came into that and fell in love with it, and I cut my retail chops there. Okay. So I started in footwear. And they trained me up on how to outfit people. You're going to hike the AT, you're doing the PCT, Triple Crown. These are the boots you need. Send me the schools to be able to fit people in boots, and then I went to outerwear, adventure sports, mountain biking, climbing, and worked my way around REI. I was there for 5 years.
Oh, no shit. Just as like a sales consultant?
Just as a sales consultant. Okay. And then I kind of turned into this role of, I forgot what they used to call me, but like the sales expert or something, because I'd be our personal shopper. I think that's what they call it. Yeah. So family would come in like, hey, we're going to Tahoe. We're going to be mountain biking. We're going to be ski or whatever it was. And I'd take them around the store and get, all the jackets I need, all the pants, the base layers, the boots, outfit them for the next couple hours and do it all. And I loved it. That's why I learned customer service, sales, and that was all through college and after college. So I majored in history and political science.
Oh, really?
So fold that up, put it in your back pocket, right?
Yeah, absolutely nothing to do with sales.
Nothing. But and I didn't really want to know what I wanted to do in school. So I played football in high school. Was going to go to college for it. Blew out a shoulder, had a bunch of medical things happen, so it changed my world.
What college did you go to?
United States Naval Academy.
Oh,
so I signed with Navy, was out there, and I had medical waivers, like 7 medical waivers just to get there. Mm-hmm. So enlisted, and the way they do the red shirt year, they go to NAPS, Naval Academy Preparatory School. So I literally was out there, and I had just had surgery on my neck for something. I have an issue with a heart that needed a waiver, my shoulder, my knee.
Jesus.
It was everything. So it was like God saying, do not play football. Just don't do this. And
do you want to die?
Yeah, I came from a military family. My dad's he's a retired full bird. My brother was a paratrooper in the Army at the time. So it was like, this is what you should do. And then it's like, your body's saying no. And so eventually just too many medical waivers. And I would have had to pull out of NAPS and be in the Naval Reserve for a year to get healthy to be able to do it. So I was like, this isn't going to work. Came back to my home in Illinois, and then I was like, what am I going to do? And I ended up going to the small school, Elmhurst College, in the suburbs of Chicago, and that's where I got hooked in with REI, where my sister worked.
Gotcha. Okay.
And stayed in the area. And after I graduated, I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I kind of like customer service sales. And I was like every other kid. Like I went online, found a job that looks like it's paying good money, and it was telecommunications integration sales.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
glorious,
those.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I've seen those on Indeed.
Yeah, right. Nice. All 30 days later, I'm out. And luckily, I just hooked up with another company in the area that my brother-in-law worked at. So maybe some nepotism going on there. I don't know. But opticsplanet.com.
Okay.
So, a lot of people.
That site rules, too.
Oh, it's an awesome company. Mm-hmm. And it was smaller back then than it is now. It's this massive conglomerate, and it's still really cool. Mm-hmm. But started, technical sales and being a product expert there because I'd always been a hunter and going through that and just built my way up 5 years, Optics Planet, then started doing product development with their private lines. And just getting to know the industry more and more. And that's cool because it's thermals. You go on these hunts and shoots with people, night vision. So everyone loved me when I worked at Optics Planet. He's like, hey, can you get a discount?
Yeah, right.
And from Optics Planet, I jumped pseudo out of the industry for about 9 months. Mm-hmm. Went to a company called LCI Brands, which they have the brand Lewis and Clark. It's travel gear. But it was local to my area. And they said they did some outdoor stuff, and they did, but you get out of this industry, you probably know it. Like you're drawn to it, and it's just in your blood. So I was kind of connected to it, but it wasn't quite right. So another job opened up in the area, and like Northern Illinois, it's not known for the hunting industry or outdoor industry.
Right? Yeah,
it's
Southern Illinois.
Southern Illinois,
but,
much better. South of 80, right? And then you get something. But fortunate enough, found another company that's no longer around now, so I can drop their name. Marie Sporting Goods. And came on as a product development manager there, doing their hunting and fishing lines. And, just every company just kind of built my way up, started going overseas, doing development, not to knock it, but just you cut your chops on doing a lot of that stuff, doing product management, and just kept, building on that and went from Marie Sporting Goods to Big Rock Sports and did their private label. So they're the continent's largest sporting goods distributor, 15, brands that they do on their own right now. And, after, what's that like, at that point, it was like 15, 16 years in that outdoor world, said I can do this on my own. So started an agency where I was consulting, doing product development and running brands for other people. And over the past, couple of years, I had been hooked up with a core group of guys that I really, really got close with. And we said, we can build some of this our own. So a hunting company was born out of that, Half Rack. And then got close with the Novix guys. And started working with them, doing a lot of projects with them, and then everything kind of just became an amalgamation and just kind of came together. And
it's kind of a perfect fit for you though too, like with
perfect storm.
Yeah, with where you're at now with the American made Treestands and stuff with Novix and everything else, and your background being the Naval Academy and your family background, like all American, red-blooded Americans, that's awesome.
We really are. It's like that's what that family is. We're really proud of it. My dad's pretty boisterous on it, but his background is. But no, and it coming in like that, it's just a lot of pride, right? And I love building brands, love the people you meet all over the world, and I love to travel all over the world. But when it comes down to it, especially like Novix and American made, and the pride that goes into that, and it's not easy. Easy button, press the easy button, you're going to import stuff. And
right.
Not that it's always easy, but American made is tough to do it right.
Well, it's tough because, when you're talking American made, when you slap that label on something, generally means like, oh, it's going to be expensive. And yeah, it's going to be more expensive, but you know what you're going to get with American made products. Generally, they're generally going to be much higher quality because, just the conditions you're working with in America here, it's way better, and people generally like their jobs a little bit better.
We have a lot of control when it's American made. If something's not right, you're not waiting 3 months to get something and go, oh, that's not right. So you get something bad that comes from overseas, and again, not knocking it, but what are you going to do if it's not right, if it's wrong? You're either going to sell it and try and push it off, or you're going to miss out on a season. Where American made, I'm at the factories, and we're based out of the Midwest, right? So we're Novix, American Pride Outdoors, Half Rack's based out of Ohio, where we do our manufacturing in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. We're pretty much manufacturing, building, and shipping all out of those 3 states, and I'm down there all the time. I'm looking at it, I'm working with the guys that are doing it. And these are all just true-blooded Americans building it all. Yeah. And if something's not right, they tell me about it before, and it's like, hey, there's this one little nick right here. All right, throw it to the side. It was good. We'll go to the next one.
And you're doing all your R&D and everything right in the same building as production and stuff, right? So it's all in-house.
It's all in-house, and our designers, our engineers are top-notch. And the best part about they're all users. We didn't pull somebody from, the washing machine world that had done that their whole life and never hunted before. And again, nothing against it. They probably could do it well if they really wanted to. Yeah. But they've hunted their whole life, and they have their background in engineering or design, and we're bringing them into the fold so they can really look at it and go, no, that angle's not going to work because when you're on a saddle, you're turning this way, or no, if you need to aim down to the left, they really know it.
I think that's really important too, especially in the hunting sphere, is where hunters can generally tell when there's a company that doesn't use their products. You can generally tell with the way the product is set up. It's kind of like, okay, you're just trying to push a product out to make some money, kind of thing. And and that's not all bad either. And generally, those companies try to keep prices cheaper, which there's something for that as well. Like you have to compete, and you can't. Not every tree stand needs to be the best you know.
Well, you have levels of graduation
yes,
too. Like you get the entry guy, like, I don't know if I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll buy the $150 hang on, and you know, because they just don't know how many times they're going to go out, and you kind of rely on that. And most of those they're probably going to be, you know, from other companies that they're importing. They hit that price point, but then they go, oh, I really like that. Well, I mean, they want something better. Well, what makes it better? Like, well, is it a stronger platform? Is it not going to give? Is it not going to flex? Is it not going to make as much noise? Is it lighter? That's probably one of the bigger things, right? These steel things where, you know, you can't hang this thing one-handed. It's loud. You know, and then, you know, Novix, you know, a lot of our chops are cut on mobile ultralight. You know, our Hilo stand is, you know, a little over 9 pounds. And easily work your way up a tree one-handed, drop that in, get it set.
Well, and for, like, me personally, too, it's like my very first hang on tree stand was just an old one I found on Facebook Marketplace, and it was it had a chain. A strap, you know, so it was one of them.
Still see that.
Yeah, actually, I still have it in a tree. I sit in it every once in a while, which is kind of scary in itself. But like when I sit in because I have a Novix Echo, when I'm sitting in that, it's like I'm 6'1", 270 pounds. Like when I'm sitting in that thing, I'm like, holy shit, this is nice. And I sit in that other one, I'm like, oh, it's any minute now, I'm going to die.
Keep checking that harness, make sure, we're good.
Yeah, like I tie off and everything else, but it's like I still don't want to hang from my harness. That's not fun.
No, oh my God, no.
Choke out those
scariest things.
Choke the boys out down there. I don't want to do that, dude. That sucks.
Still want to have some kids?
Yeah, well, no, but I mean, still, it hurts. You know?
Oh, no, for sure. And that, we do see that graduation. Then you see the guys that go, you know, they recognize that they want something, you know, better or even best right away, and they'll go for it. But, you know, so there's different types of customers, and we really push ourselves on to make sure we're as competitive as possible too, and that's what also makes it difficult. American made, you know, you can come out and make, you know, something super expensive, but how many people can afford it? Like, we want the working class to be able to get into this. You know, it's kind of what we're all here, and the brand and everything, right? Working class bow hunter. Yeah, we want people to be able to afford it, get in it, and not break the bank with it, and spend a lot of time. This last 6 months. You spend a lot of time like talking with all the suppliers, you know, seeing what we can do to make some changes if changes are needed, just to make sure that we can keep costs down. You know, go to grocery store right now, right? It's just moths fly out of the wallet. You know, fill a tank of gas. You don't know what price it's going to be. You can shoot up $1 overnight gallon.
That's when you just start swiping the free money card.
Yeah,
you know, say I'll deal with the repercussions later, kind of thing.
Yeah, right. And we were hit by it, and you know, when the Novix came out, and we're trying to steady that off and keep it down for this year. And
on top of you guys came out with the Raider series during that whole thing, and you're like, oh, we're going to come out with the most budget tree stand that we can with keeping the quality high, and that's what that whole Raider series is all about, and it's fucking phenomenal.
The learnings from that were absolutely incredible. So, you know, a welded, American-made welded tree stand platform out of aluminum, kept the weight down, you know, kept the cost to be competitive, and that's our new items. We have the Raider hybrid mini stand. That's in that obviously the Raider lineup, welded aluminum, the new Raider saddle platform, our sticks. We have that ladder stand in there that's all toolless. So that's the other thing we want to do, just make it easy. You don't want to pull something out and sit there, all right, I got 3 hours, my ratchets, let's go. We don't have time for that. You know, we just want to be able to get out there and go hunting.
Pull out of the box and go.
Pull out of the box and go. That's toolless assembly. That's, you know, what we're pushing for, and got some more changes coming this year to help with that. And just, we want the user experience to be absolutely perfect on both brands, Novix and Half Rack. Just get out in the field and do what you love. Live the life you love. I tell the guys that all the time. I'll send them messages, send them emails, be like, we're very fortunate to work for the company we have, and we really, really want to make sure you guys truly live it. I've worked for a lot of companies, and probably you have too, where take too much time, you can't get out in the field, you can't enjoy your passion, and I don't want our guys to ever have that.
Yeah.
Got to get out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. My background is I was in the Army for like 10 years, and then almost 10 years, and then I got out and I wanted to get back into hunting really bad, and I worked in wind for a little while, like on wind turbines and shit.
Oh, that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You on the top of those things?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, no, it is a good job. It is good for what I needed. You know, I was in some debt, and I needed a job that gave me some overtime hours, and I had plenty of it, but it was rough trying to get time off to go hunting and stuff. You know, it's like it was like some managers, it's like pulling teeth trying to get time off and stuff. Yeah, it was rough. So I've since left wind, and the job I have now is much more flexible, and it's in my town, so I'm not driving an hour away to my site. So it's way nicer now. So it's just kind of like one of those things that kind of not really the same as you, where it's like you're moving from company to company and like finding your fit and getting, all this experience and all that stuff. Mine was just more or less like getting closer to home so I can work less and get paid the same, hopefully, or if not, maybe a little bit more and work a little bit less. I guess kind of the blue collar American dream is to find a job where you can work less for the same amount of pay. So, or more. Obviously, it's always nice to get paid more, but
love hearing the backgrounds, right? So, you got, pretty much a career in the Army, 10 years. That's awesome. Thank you for the service.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Coming out, going wind, and, finding that, my path, going from college and, Naval Academy to not being able to cut that, to come back and working these odd jobs, but, finding that being able to be together in the outdoor industry, the hunting world, and just those similarities we all have, and that passion that just brings us all together. It's just kind of an incredible melting pot we have.
It is.
You speak to everybody from their backgrounds, but, the guy on Wall Street, but, he still takes his time off to go on that hunt. He's going for that elk, and, someone in Silicon Valley, but they still do it. And you never know what background someone might have. It just brings us all together.
Yeah, you have the one thing that the one common factor is everyone, obviously in the hunting community, you're hunting, but having that one thing that brings everyone together, and like, it is interesting, and like meeting other people, I guess, in their backgrounds. It's so diverse. It's pretty incredible, honestly, especially with me only doing this podcast for about a year now. Actually, just over a year, just hit a year. It would be January 6th. So
happy anniversary.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's cool meeting all sorts of new people and everything else, and kind of dipping my toes in the industry a little bit with Kurt and the guys and everything else. So it's fun.
But it's favorite thing about hunting probably for me too is just the deer camps. I love going out solo sits and all that, but when you're at a deer camp with a bunch of friends, some guys you don't know, some guys have been your friends for a long time, but just deer camp, that atmosphere. And I'll never forget, I had one of the guys I worked with before, he always said, he's like, when you go on a hunt, you go to a deer camp, like, do the chores, do something to make sure, they know that you're really appreciate being there and you're helping out, and you'll get invited back, and you'll have friends for life. And it's true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Went on one to a great place in Nebraska, and I was like, I always ask them, what can I do, helping clean up, and they're good friends. It's been 10 plus years since I've been there, but just that deer camp atmosphere, man, just brings us all together.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like that's something that's kind of, it's shifted a lot that I've noticed from when I was a kid, and I grew up like, just going on deer drives in Iowa with my dad and stuff, and a friend and his dad and whatnot. But that whole deer camp atmosphere has really changed quite a bit, it seems like. So I used to, in our area, it seems like a lot more people are getting into bow hunting. That's very singular, which is fun in its own way, But it seems like and we're trying to do it a little bit here with that deer camp vibe and everything else with the podcast, and then when we're out hunting and stuff too, almost having like a bow hunting camp is always pretty interesting, because you're going out and hunting your own little areas, but just having a place to come back to and still get that deer camp vibe is always a good time. And that's when we went to Africa. Like Africa's deer, or it's like deer camp all the time. Oh. It's amazing. It's so much fun.
Talking about now you got me started on Africa. So where did you guys go? In South Africa?
Yeah, South Africa. We're pretty close to Botswana. But
Botswana's a dream. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. But,
how long were you there for?
A week.
How'd you do?
Pretty good. We went to this area that was Stuart set us up in a spot that was set up more for bow hunting, because we were all bow hunting at the time. And I had a blast. I think we all did really well, but I shot an Impala, a Sable.
Ooh,
and
pretty.
I shot that one with the gun, but it was the last day. I'm like, fuck, dude, and he was awesome Sable out there, and we went and did a little stock on him, and it was awesome. But and then a Nyala. So
another pretty one.
It was so cool.
Those horns. Now you got to go for the full spiral, man.
I know.
The spiral slam. Start and just keep going.
That's the goal this year, is to get out there and get a kudu and a Kneeland.
So that was my first African animal. So I'm fortunate enough. I've been a couple of times, 3 times now, twice in South Africa, and it was wild. So the first animal was a kudu, and it was a good one. I remember I was looking at it, and the PH was like, "Do you want to shoot that one?" I was like, "Can I?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Do you want me to shoot this one?
And then it was on. Nice. The stock was on. Tried to get it down, and Gray Ghost of Africa name stays true. Like that thing disappeared from me so many times, and then you kind of look over and you're like, it's under the tree, in the shade of that tree right there. Like, oh my god,
dude, they just materialize
out of thin air.
Yeah,
so cool, majestic.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I shot an Impala the first day and Nyala the second day, and my goal is to get a kudu. So I hunted kudu the rest of the time until the last day, and then it's like we'd be sitting in the blind and stuff, and not seeing much because we got put in some like the kudu spots, and and Stuart told us like, hey, you're probably not going to see much, but what you do see will be a kudu, and we got some shooters over here, so we'd be sitting there not seeing shit, and then I'd look away and then come back like, oh my gosh, he's right there at like 30 yards. I'm like, what? Where'd you come from, dude? Like, you're huge. Like, they just come out of nowhere.
We were in a blind. So I was in Zimbabwe this past August, Save Conservancy Valley. Absolutely incredible. It's almost 1 million acres free range.
I heard about that place. It's like a fucking dream place.
Absolute dream. Like you can't throw a brick without hitting like an elephant. It's really incredible. Yeah. But so I really wanted to get a Cape buffalo. Mm-hmm. I got my Cape. Also, that area. Heavily populated elephant, like I just said. So they had tags available for elephant, most incredible stalk and hunts of my life. You kind of look up pH. After 45 minutes into the stalk, pH said safety's off. And I'm like, safety's off? I'm still stalking. And then sticks go up 10 seconds later. And then you look around and you can't believe how an animal this size, you can't see. Then you look all around you. We're in the middle of a herd. And they're all around left, right in front of us. This thing is 15, 18 yards in front of me. Just coming through the bushes, absolutely incredible. We can talk forever on that one too, but so I got my 2 tags filled. I got my elephant, I got my Cape buff, and my dad was with me, and I really want him to bring him to Zimbabwe. He had been to South Africa twice with me, and I was like, I want my dad to see wild Africa. Mm-hmm. So he came with me, and he just wanted to take something in Zimbabwe. And we were going after warthogs, so we had said, those little things, they're hard to hunt. And they're wild.
Wiry.
Oh, my God, are they? So, we'd see them, and then the second they see you, they're gone. So we build up a blind. That was really crazy. So we build a blind the night before. The next morning, we come back early, and there's lion tracks all around. So it was pretty wild, yeah. But we're sitting there, and you kind of look over a few seconds, nothing there. And then going back to this kudu, you look over, and you're like, there's like 5 cow kudu in the water. How did they get there? We didn't hear a splash. Nothing. This is within seconds. They just materialize out of the bush.
They do. It's insane.
It's such a cool animal. The quintessential American, plains game animal, right? So
yeah.
I'm going to be rooting for you. You need that kudu.
Thanks, man. Thanks. We're going back. So obviously with this podcast stuff, especially, but we're going back with guns next year, and we're just gonna. Let it rip.
Depending where you're going, like sometimes you're in a canyon. It's kind of like going out west here. Sometimes it's tougher, and it's you need to take that little bit longer shot, or you have only so much time to get into it. But just being over there, man, it's just that feeling. There's a good quote, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's pretty much saying like, the only person I'm jealous of is the person that has not yet been to Africa because they don't know what they're getting into.
Right.
That feeling of you haven't been to, you go and you're like, I'm coming back every year.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. I've talked to a couple people that have been to Africa quite a few times, and before we went last year, before we went there, talking to them and stuff, and we're like, kind of a once in a lifetime thing. Like, oh, this would be cool. Go experience Africa and then be done. There's like, you're not going to be done.
Like, always say that.
I don't know. I'd like to see, like, go do the Africa thing for a little bit and just do it once, and it'd probably be fine. They're like, you're going to go back, and then we get there and start hunting, and it's like, yeah, I'm coming back. This is just too amazing.
The amount of wildlife you can hunt, the various species, 30-some plains game species. You got the big 5, you got the dangerous 7. Mm-hmm. So many different ecosystems. For my first hunt, I was in Limpopo, Bushveld, right? Probably a lot like you saw, where you're in and out of these bushes. They call wait-a-minute bushes because everything's got thorns and it holds you there, and you're dealing with that. And then we went up to the high veld, where we're going after black wildebeest, and just rolling hills where you see a herd go crest a hill, go over the next one, crest a hill, and it's a 2-hour drive to get to that 75,000 acre area where you're going to hunt that. And Zimbabwe this time, 1 million acres of free range where. You come up, you push, hyenas off that watering hole, and there's an elephant there. We got chased by an elephant that had a calf with her, and that was the wildest thing I've ever heard. And she stalked us. We were in the truck going back to the village, and she was in and out of the bush, and she'd come on the road, chase us, and we'd kind of drive a little bit further away, and then she'd dive back into the bush, come back out 20 yards behind us, like, this elephant's stalking us. Like, let's get out of here. And all the trackers and the park guys behind us were like, go, 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 go. It was a wild time.
Dude, that'd be nuts. That'd be fun, though.
Oh, and on the sad side, while we were there, so Save Conservancy, very, very remote area, while we were there, that Thursday night, we were in camp for about 10 days. A villager was killed by an elephant. So it's very real to them. We joke around here with some of the wildlife, but, they're dealing with, if they're out at night, they got the Cape buff, they got the leopards, they got the elephant, they got rhino, lions. It's wild.
There's so many things that can, if you're, especially like a villager out there living and stuff, it's like, there's so many things that can just kill you.
So many things.
So many things.
And I brought up the snakes with some of the guys. I was like, what happens if you get bit by like a black mamba? And they're like, well, we try and treat the symptoms. And I was like, that's it? And they're like, if we treat the symptoms, you have a chance. I was like, wow. Just tough life, hard people, nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely love talking with the villagers, and they love us hunters, right? Because you come in when an elephant gets taken down, or anything really for that matter. A lot of the meat stayed, actually all my elephant meat stayed with them. So the village came out, they're butchering that up, bringing it back, and that night everything's hanging, getting dried out, and they love you for it because you're feeding them. All the excess food goes to the food bank, so they understand conservation. It's like they don't want poachers coming in because hunters come in, they spend the money, they get improvements there, they get the meat. There's a lot of things they've done right in those areas to really promote conservation, and I couldn't be happier. Obviously, I was there for a rifle hunt too. Because I know a lot of guys they go after the big five with a bow, but that's scary to me.
That's pretty
I know
wild.
it's hard to get a bow permit for an elephant. And those guys got they got some brass. That's nuts. Even on mine, at one point, so like 15, 17 yards, coming through the bush a little bit, and I could felt my knee getting a little bit of a shake right before I was waiting for that. That side brain shot. And then I was like, lock that out, take the shot.
Yeah. I mean, it was wild enough watching Eric when he shot that giraffe. He shot a giraffe with a bow.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, that's nuts.
It's a big animal.
It's a huge animal, yeah. I can imagine shooting an elephant with a bow. That's insane. You have to have like a 1,200 grain arrow.
Oh yeah, it's like
crazy.
There's legal minimum, something like 100 pound, 120 pound draw.
Yeah,
the requirements for it and special permits. You got to kind of prove you can do it. But man, what a feat, right? To take on the most dangerous game in the world. The guys that have gotten the big five and Danger 7 with a bow, man, hats off to them. They're hunters.
Yeah, right? I think Kurt, he's mentioned that he really wants to go do Cape Buffalo with his bow. Right,
staring down black deaths.
That'd be fun though. That'd be a good time.
So my Cape Buff,
wild.
I was shooting a 460 Weatherby mag.
Okay,
and I shoot this gun well. It's an A-square Hannibal, fantastic stock system, fits me well. And I'm shooting 500 grains at 2,400 feet per second. It takes anything down, right? We're getting on these Dugga boys early, and my first shot was maybe 50, 60 yards, and it's in thick vegetation, so the bush is kind of obscuring it, but this grain bullet is standing right behind the bush. So I'm lining up the leg, the head, neck, and I probably went 2 or 3 inches too high from the heart. And it's a good hit. Thing drops, and I'm like, it's going to stay down. This powerful cartridge, right? Well, no, it ended up being a great double lung hit, but I didn't hit the heart. And how real the trackers and the pH it turns, because now we got a wounded Cape Buffalo.
Yeah.
So there was a group of Duggas, and like probably 4 or 5 total, and the others took off, but that one stayed there. You could hear him breathing. It was heavy breathing, wet breathing. So we knew it was a good double lung hit, and there's blood. So we're going around and tracking it, but how real it was. Like I am stalking a wounded Cape Buffalo in the thick bush where you can't see 5 yards in front of you,
dude.
And
could be anywhere. And we already
could be anywhere.
We already know that those huge animals can hide in that bush.
And you don't know what else might be there. And granted, a gunshot, probably most everything's scattered out of the way, but
maybe
they turn around and they'll hunt you down just as much as you're hunting them. And
the world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
How good the trackers are there and the pH. If you're with a good one, they're following it here and they're looking ahead, and he's like, it's right there. And I was like, I don't see this thing.
What are you talking about?
And, the wind's wrong. So, they're so quick with it. And we go around, turn a corner, and got lucky. Maybe the trackers just put us there, but, we come around right behind it. So the whole stalk lasted, less than 40, 50 yards. Didn't go that far. And his rump's down and he's facing away from us. And, finish it off really quick. But in the back of my head, I was like, man, I wonder what if he would have been looking at us. And the PA, I actually said something to the PH, and he's like, if he would have seen us, he would have been looking at us. It would have been a charge. It would have been really bad. So
we're all just shooting the head, trying to shoot the head as fast as possible.
Get him down, and that's just better for the animal too, right? Just put him down. But I couldn't believe, that animal sucked up that slug. Like eventually, it went down. But just the power of them, what they can take, and how they disappear. And we heard the breathing, couldn't see the thing, and it's this massive, 1,200, 1,500 pound black buffalo, and you can't see it.
Just ginormous. Were you shooting solids or?
So first was a soft. And that it's one of some guys differ on how they want to do solid soft. So elephant was solids, all solids, because it was a brain shot. The buff was first. He had me load in the first in chamber was a soft, and then it was solids after that because if it was a wound, you taking off running, you just pop it in them. You got to get them down. But the first was a soft. And I was shooting the Hornady DGX bonded, their new one, the bonded one, and held together great. I waited afterward, and I can't remember what it was now, but it was a perfect hit, double lung, went right through, and it didn't. It was you could feel it under the skin on the opposite side.
Oh, okay.
Perfect expansion, and it did the deed. In the second one, the solid actually. It went pretty much clear through. I shot it on, because we were coming from behind. It was a little bit high rump in the back because it was an angled shot going down, and it didn't go all the way through. So I actually got both out of that one.
Okay.
Take back as a little trophy.
Yeah.
With it.
No, that's cool.
But so it's 500 grain slugs. First one was soft, but man, and Hornady ammunition. I love Hornady. It's affordable too. I love supporting a company like that. A lot of people can knock some things. They've had issues in the past with their, especially their DG. A dangerous game ammo that wasn't bonded. Now they fixed that, so I absolutely love their stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean they're obviously great. They've been around for a long time. The PRC line that they're coming out with now with a bunch of all that, it's taken off like wildfire.
And they're so good at introducing new cartridges. And a lot of people say, well, don't introduce a new cartridge. Bring out something that we need more stock of. And it's like, well, there is stock or you can reload, but we got to keep, innovating our category. Yeah. Some things die off. So, when they partnered with Ruger for the 375 Ruger, fantastic cartridge. You got 375 H&H, been around for, over 100 years, taken everything, one of the best cartridges out there for big game. Doesn't mean you can't make some things better. Now we took it from a magnum action to a long action with 375 Ruger. And Hornady was so instrumental in that, the 416 Ruger and the PRCs now, and what they put into R&D and innovation. It keeps pumping stuff into our world, whether it's hunting, whether it's bench rest, practice. There's so much that goes along with it.
Well, and it's like you have to keep pushing it. You have to come out with new stuff because you never know what's going to stick. And especially in the cartridge world, it's like there's a lot of cartridges out there that got introduced and they just kind of shit the bed. They just didn't pick up steam. But yeah, like you said, it's like Hornady's really good at rolling out new stuff. Like their marketing is on point. And they before they start rolling it out, like you can just tell they have all their ducks in a row when they're rolling it out. Like they're already talking to rifle manufacturers and stuff. Like, hey, would you support this? And like, oh yeah, like, we'll support that. So they get a lot of support before they even before they drop it and stuff. They're not just like making a cartridge and just throwing it on the shelf saying like, here it is, everyone have at it kind of thing. It's like they're getting the support. And
they put it in the hands of real good shooters that can really push it. And they're going to listen to them. But it's you can even tie the correlation to Novix. Like you want Novix because you see guys use it because they say it's the lightest, it's the best. When you have a new cartridge come out and you're seeing that these world records are being hit and these guys are winning these practical matches, and you go, how far are you shooting? What's that drop? Like, oh man, that's nice. Like you put it in the hands of people that can really test it, use it, better it, and then people see what they do, and then people want it, and that's how you get that popularity, and that's how it grows. People that don't do it, and I don't want to pick on anybody, but like I think the 6.8 Westerner, it's not a bad cartridge, but
no,
it's kind of fading off. I don't see it as much anymore.
Well, so the 6.8 Western, I think it's a great round, honestly, and I think when they came because Browning and Winchester, they teamed up and created it, right? So obviously two rifle manufacturers as well, big, huge rifle manufacturers. And so when they came out with it, I feel like it was a good niche that they filled, and it was awesome. But then they came out with then Browning came out with a 270 fast twist, and it's like, well, it's basically like, I don't know, like
they
you're kind of negating
behind it.
No,
yeah,
you're kind of competing with yourself there.
Yeah,
it's like just put everything you have in the 6.8 Western, and then you come out with the 270 fast twist, and it's like, well, it's kind of negating the 6.8 Western's appeal there with being a bigger, higher BC bullet and needing a faster twist barrel and stuff and everything else. And it's, I don't know. I feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with coming out with the 270 fast twist as well. But
I agree. And then look on the flip side, the 350 Legend, like. I didn't know if that was really going to stick around, but it's like now more things are coming out with it. Remington's pushing it more. It seems like that's doing well, and more platforms are coming out with it. You're seeing states with the straight wall regs and things are firearms are coming out with that. So that one, it's like it's going to have more legs. It's going to keep growing. But I do remember when the 375 Ruger came out, people said it's not going to last. It's not going to do it.
Why a 375 Ruger when we have a 375 HH that does just fine?
But they stayed behind it, they pushed it, they support it, and going back to like Hornady, right? You keep supporting it, and it's going to just have its place in history. And now kind of sad, but because I'm Africa hunter, I like the Magnum actions, right? So CZ stopped with the 550 production, and that was one of the last production Magnum actions that you could really do a lot with. Now Winchester still has their Model 70 and 375 H&H, but the field was a little bit larger a few years ago. Now it's kind of dwindling. And there's still options out there, but it's kind of like, man, it's more people are moving away from the Magnum action, smaller market, not a whole lot of guys going over there with the big stuff. So how much longer are some of these companies going to keep doing that to where, you gotta shoehorn these things into some long actions, and 375 Ruger did that very effectively. But it's perfect justification to keep innovation going on these. And how do we better it? How do we make things, either more simpler for people, simpler for manufacturers, the efficiencies in there? Like why not? Technology changes. Like look at bullet tech.
Oh, dude, it's insane. Like it's just it's changed so much.
5 years, 10 years, let alone, get to 20 or 50 years, how much it's changed now, like with what they're doing. And I love talking to the ballisticians. Like when you listen to them, you're like, dude, you're my new favorite person.
Yeah. Half of it's going like way up here.
Yeah. I don't understand, but I love it.
Cool. Like when you start throwing out all these crazy numbers and shit, I'm like, ugh, I don't know about that. But it does, like the stuff I do understand, like I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to ballistics and stuff. And it's like, I'm not a ballistician by any means, but I know enough, obviously enough to do what I need to do. But it's like, dude, when you hear someone talk, that it's like a different language, but it's so interesting and stuff. And then I start making my notes and everything else, and I go back and do research on it because it's like, it's half of it's going to go over my head right now, but I'm going to go back and do the research on it, and then it'll start making more sense. It's kind of like,
absolutely.
Army saying it's like when you get briefed on something, it's like, all right, clear as mud. Like, okay, moving on. It's like, okay, cool. It'll start making sense the more we do it. It's
and that's just always. I think all of us just strive to be information gatherers and just learn as much as we can. I
think it's because in hunting, that's one appeal with hunting that I noticed that what draws me into deeper and deeper into hunting is as my life goes on. It's like you can get good at like chess. Like, you can become really good at chess. You can become really good at these other things. You can never really become like a good hunter. You can become a knowledgeable hunter, but I don't feel like anyone's really a good hunter because so much is left to chance. Like, you can't control what the animals do.
Variables.
So many variables that you can't control. You can't control what the animal does or where it's going to be, or if it is, you zig and it zags. You don't really know what's going to happen. You can stack the odds in your favor by having more knowledge, but you're never going to have all the knowledge. I don't think you're constantly learning. Even the guys that have been doing it for their entire lives, and they, have all these different experiences and everything else. It's like they're still constantly learning. It's like you're never going to know everything about hunting, and there's just so much into it. You can, then you get really good with a gun, and there's bow hunting, and then there's this, and then there's rifle hunting, and then there's shotguns, and it's all this different stuff, and you're never going to know all of it, I don't think. So it's like it's a constant learning, and it keeps it interesting, I think.
Yeah, I love telling people, it's why we call it hunting, right? It's not shooting. Some stuff is shooting. And I'll be first to say, I have an upland dog. I have a wire hair griff, lover, and we belong to a club in northern Illinois. And I love taking her out there because it's just her pride and joy, right? She loves running the fields, and I love watching her run the fields. But they're farm raised birds, right? I know what they are, and that they have a chance, but I love watching the dog work her instincts, and I call that shooting, right? Is it hunting? Yeah, it's still hunting, but it's more so shooting. The odds are definitely in our favor. It's not a wild pheasant hunt,
right?
Wild pheasant hunt where it's truly wild, a little bit different. But I call that shooting, right? And that hunting it's so much variable. You can be knowledgeable, you can read the signs and make changes. It's one of the reasons I love turkey hunting.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, all right, I know where they're roosted. I was doing some, owl calls. I know they're there, but still taking a chance. Are they going to come down on the roost where I want? Are they going to take off? Are they still really there that night, or what happened? I always joke around too and say, like, half the fun for me turkey hunting is calling in the bird, and then you shoot it. It's like sometimes I wish I could just come back to life and let it run on its way, right? Because just that thrill of calling it in, and it's like it's truly it's a lot of work to call in a turkey and do it right. And one mistake and it's gone, but man, it's hunting.
Yeah, I feel like with turkeys, they're so dumb that it makes it hard.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
They have tiny little brains and stuff, but it's so hard to pattern something with that. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. Like they're just It's like a feathered Roomba, It's like you're just wandering around in a field in the woods, and you're like, I can't get in front of this thing because I'm going to get in front of it, and it's going to be coming. And all of a sudden, it's like you see a red head, and it looks around, and it's gone. You're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Come on. You were supposed to be here. You were here yesterday. Like, why aren't you here now? It's like.
Feathered Roomba. I'm going to remember that one for life. But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah, they're so dumb that they're smart.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah, but I mean, their instincts they know how to survive. Like, their eyesight is insane. Like, a bird's eyesights are ridiculous. So it's like, yeah, you get all settled in and stuff, but yeah, they see one thing that's kind of out of place, and they're just like, man, I'm just not going to go over there. Yeah. They just go about their way. But they're not like deer, where deer comes in and it sees something weird, and it like bobs around for a little bit, and it blows at you a little bit and stomps and does all these things. Like turkeys, they just come in, there's like, nope, and then
gone,
go the other way. You're like, what the hell? Like, what did you see? Like, what happened, dude? Like, I don't know. It's fun. It's so much fun. I'm so glad I don't have to choose between turkey hunting and deer hunting, though.
Oh, yeah. I don't ever go for turkey in the fall.
No,
that's deer season. I love that spring season. Keep it separate, but I'm talking to a few guys this year, and they're doing some fall birds, and I was like, I don't know. I miss it, but I think I like having it just in the spring. It's kind of like whitetail hunting, right? Like it's just in the fall, so you build up all year for it, and I go from this year was Africa to to fall season, and then I kind of transition to pheasant hunting, my upland game, and then I'll be back to turkey, and then a couple months preparation off for starting it all over again.
Yeah, are you going back to Africa next year? Or like this year?
I'd like to go for 24, but I don't know if the wife will let me.
Yeah, it's a big ass.
Last one was a little expensive.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, the Cape Buffalo I don't even know what an elephant costs. That's how out of the price range it is for me now. So
I will say this: if you partner with the right PH and you get a good hunt. So my hunt was a cull hunt. And you wouldn't believe it. Cull elephants, they're so overpopulated in the Sabe Conservancy that there's a lot of tags for them. So I actually shot a tusked cow elephant. Because there's actually multiple available because there's so many of them. And it's kind of like how we control whitetail here, right? You got to call out a lot of the does, right?
Yep.
So it's the same thing there. And it's kind of interesting because when you get into the herd, it can't have a dependent calf, can't be visibly pregnant, right? Gestation on an elephant's 22 months, so you don't want to hurt
Holy
that.
shit!
22 months gestation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was that long.
It is, and even one of the reasons why you have to call them out. So elephants actually get like dementia; they have some issues, and you'll get an old matriarch, maybe some kicked out from the herd, or just kind of losing it, and they'll sometimes attack pregnant females, because if they can't carry anymore, they just get like this. So
jealous
a lot of
or something, something like that.
You figure you got a bun in the oven for 22 months, and you got 18 months, and this rogue elephant comes in and knocks you over, and you lose that calf. So that's why a lot of parks rangers and wildlife management, they look at those and go, that one is going to be key for cull. So a lot of people think like you're going to go out there and just go shoot whatever you want, right? No, you got the PH with you, and he's like, this is the one you're going to take. That, not that one. You can't shoot that. You're going to get in trouble. You shoot that one. This one.
Yeah.
So they have to be so just perfect with that. Making sure you get a good presentation, and they understand. Like in our case, elephant, no dependent calf, not visibly pregnant. And that's when you're going to take right there.
It's very scientific the way they go about it. It's like they're very particular, and that's one thing I love about Africa is that they're so particular because they're just so careful about like preserving what they have while also putting on good hunts and everything else. Like it's it's a balancing act that I feel like they've really mastered with their species. in Africa and stuff. So
they're in South Africa is kind of the conservation success story, right? So when they moved everything to private ownership and said, this is yours, you got to protect it. And, there's a lot of money in line there, and you kind of keep the species going. So, the guys that own the ranches there, right, they do the aerial counts. They come in, they make sure there's good genetics there. And, there's always some unscrupulous activity, just like we have in the States. You can argue ethics. Yeah. But, when they made it private ownership and put a lot of value to that animal, it ensured the survival of those species.
That's what I try explaining to people in America, because there's still a lot of people in America that you tell them, like, I'm going to go African hunt. And they kind of give you a puzzled look, like, that's kind of dirty. Like, that's for dirty trophy hunters, kind of thing. Like,
they don't know.
And trophy hunting has gotten shit on for years in America, for years, even by other hunters, like North American hunters. Like, that's fucking bullshit trophy hunting. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's getting a better name for it now when people start understanding it more and more. But it's like, it's one of these things where people, you see it on the National Geographic and stuff, and all these majestic creatures out there running around and doing their thing. And it's truly wild. But if they don't have, it's, and some people may think it's kind of rude, or maybe, I don't know, maybe not rude, but it's like, they don't like saying it, but it's like, if these animals don't have a dollar sign or like
if they don't have a value,
then they're going to be pushed out. Like the people that own the ranches and stuff and own their property, they need to make money. Like they have a livelihood to sustain. So it's like either these wild animals sustain their livelihood, or they're going to kill them off or push them out and replace them with cattle and stuff. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want animals? Because you got to hunt them. They have to have a value attached to them in order to keep them around.
A lot of people are blinded by, what we have in America, where you think of the big swaths of land and the wildlife all lives there. And, well, it's not the case. Like South Africa's a success story, right? What we just talked about Zimbabwe, I didn't see roadkill. I didn't see a single animal outside of the parks that were there, because everything's been hunted for food. They have no, I shouldn't say they, but a lot of them have no concept for the sustainability and conservation of the animals. They don't see them as important. And, the governments there are trying to work with them, educate. That's why you have the Save Conservancy and there's various parks all over there to make sure we promote it, or they promote it, and then they are able to keep these animals going forward. But yet people don't understand the trophy hunting. They think, you're just going there, you want a trophy on the wall. Do you understand, like when I shot my elephant, there's overpopulation in the area. The elephants destroy all the trees. So if you have too many elephants, they're going to take down the trees. You're not going to have the vegetation for the giraffes, the wildebeest, all the other ones. You're going to get to the point where there's overgrazing for maybe other animals, and you get to soil erosion. You have soil erosion in an area, it's years before you can grow back. Now it's a barren wasteland. When I took that elephant, how many hundred people are going to eat out of that elephant? They're going to take that ivory and make jewelry out of it and sell it to tourists and, do things with it to be able to feed their family and get more. Just more supplies for their village. The taxidermy, like when I got my Cape Buffalo, I'm employing the park scout, the game rangers there, the PH, all the villagers. You're feeding them. You're paying them for doing the various things. The dining staff, the cooks, the security people, the laundry. You're funding so many different people. Then the taxidermist, and then the shipping company, the guy that drives the crate down over. So, the amount that goes into them, and it's like, well, a hunter spends, I wish I knew the statistic, but how much more than someone that goes on a photo safari? Nothing against a photo safari, but hunters were employing so many people there and keeping that conservation going for all those animals, and there's a value associated with it, and that's why they're going to protect them. And they're so choosy with it, where you're not going to hunt an animal that's typically younger or still in breeding age, right? They target old or out of breeding age, so they're not really adding more genetics. They've passed that on, and that's kind of not too much of a concept here in the States. But like my Cape Buffalo probably hadn't breeded in 2 years. It was 11 plus years old. They all got aged. They pull teeth to age it. So there's a lot more going on there than a lot of people probably think of.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like Eric's giraffe, he got a little bit of shit, but not near as much shit as we thought. We were kind of expecting with the giraffe thing.
Sometimes go, giraffe.
Yeah, no, I see them in the zoo, and they have big long black tongues. And they're cool, which they are cool. Like they're awesome. But so talking with like Stuart and stuff, he was saying, there's 2 giraffes on this farm that, there are 2 bulls that need a big shot. They're old bulls that are kicked out of the herd. Stinky?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's how you could smell an old giraffe. And you're like, there's a giraffe around here. It's pretty old. You can just smell it.
Yep. So there's 2 giraffes, and they're actually black giraffes, which is really cool. So Eric shot a black giraffe, which is badass. But Stuart was saying, he's like, there's 2 giraffes here that need to be shot, and there's one in particular, the one that Eric shot. Actually, he's like, it won't make it another year.
Yeah.
Like they're either going to go in with a chopper and kill it themselves, or someone's going to shoot it, or it's just going to die over the winter. He's like, this is not going to make it because it's kicked out of the herd, and also so it's going to get taken down by predators, or it's just going to die, or they're going to kill it because it was a fairly aggressive draft because that's kind of the MO of African game. When they get old, they
get a little ornery when you get pushed out of the herd.
Yep. They start fucking up like younger bulls, they're immature bulls, and they just go and like fuck them up, and they could kill them. It's like, well, this guy just needs to go. Like he's done his time. Like he made it through. He was the king for a little bit,
and they benefited. They got the the fee for that. So the property owner benefited.
Exactly. And if they went with the chopper, or if it just died throughout the winter, then it's nothing. Like obviously if they shot it out of a chopper, then it's like, okay, like they would still do something with me and all that other good stuff, but it's not the same. They wouldn't get that revenue from Eric Payne for the draft, and what you just explained. You explained it so eloquently, where it's like it's a whole economy back behind it.
Yeah.
It's like it's insane when you really sit there, and you have to get there. You have to be there. You have to go to Africa to really see it and really appreciate what everything that goes into African hunting. So and people like to cry. Like back in America, they watch the videos and they cry about like starving Africans and stuff like that. And it's like, well, go over there and do something about it then. Like
they'll always say it, but are they actually going to do something?
No, they're just going to cry about it and make other people feel bad about it. And it's like, yeah, it sucks. Like there's a lot of poverty there, but it's like hunters actually going over there and like doing something about it, and they're having a good time doing it. So it's like, I think it's a win-win across the board.
I have that debate a lot. Actually, when I was at the customs when I was doing my rifle paperwork for the importation, I told them, they asked like, "Oh, what are you going to hunt?" And I was like, "Cape buffalo, probably an elephant." And you could see on their face like, And
elephant? What?
I gave my, I got my spiel down a little bit, probably here from what I said here, and after a minute, they're like, "Oh my God, really?" And I was able to educate two of these customs officers on what truly goes on there, and they're like, I never knew, and that's what I strive to, bring education to the people that don't understand it in the hunting world.
Oh yeah, sure.
So many people they think it's taboo, or they have these misconceptions about it, and that's what all of us, all stewards of conservation and hunting have to do. Sometimes we want to stand on our pedestals and say, "You'll never understand," or "You just don't get it," but at the end of the day, we need to educate them so our rights aren't taken away, our lands aren't taken away, and we've seen a lot of that, right? Where they cut lands away from us, so we can't have access to public lands, and private land keeps getting brought up. So just need to educate people on the benefits of hunting all over the world.
Oh yeah,
on what it can do for all the economies and the people there, and what they've done. Look at that industry in South Africa. Who would have thought? They've said private ownership here and flourished. The game farming, when they just have, and we bring in a chunk of income, but like the game farmers, when they just have locals come in and game hunt, that industry there is huge.
Oh yeah, yep.
It just totally changed it around for them, and just what a success story. And Botswana opening back up, and then you see some just stupid things like Kenya, who's burning. They burned over $100 million worth of ivory that they confiscated from poachers.
Jeez, so isn't that fucking stupid?
Like you have supply and demand flood the marketplace.
Right.
There are poachers going out and shooting these things, left and right to get that because there's a demand for it and there's a shortage. Like you have $100 million of ivory plus sitting somewhere, flood the market with it. So they go, well, the poacher's going to go, well, now I only get this much to shoot an elephant. I won't go do it anymore. There's no point.
Exactly.
Rhino horn, same thing. South Africa won't let. There's $4 or $5 billion worth of rhino horn in private ownership harvested humanely from rhinos, where they cut it. It's keratin. It regrows.
Yeah,
it's a renewable resource. So you got $4 or $5 billion plus of this in warehouses, and South African government won't let it flood the marketplace. You got places in Asia using this aphrodisiac treatment for ED, whatever it is.
Yeah,
flood that market because people think dehorning does something the public does not understand. And you've heard from guys that have caught poachers that you have a dehorned rhino. All right, they think it's safe. No, it's not safe because a poacher is going to spend 1, 2, 3 days, whatever, going after that. And poachers have killed the dehorned rhino, and they ask them, why did you shoot it? Didn't even have the horn. And they said, I didn't want to waste time tracking it again.
Oh, sure.
So they don't want to spend all their time tracking something that they're not going to get, so they just rather kill it.
Just kill it. Yeah.
Rhinos are that one species, they're worth more dead than alive. It costs so much money to keep a rhino alive, protected from poachers. And I've been at some ranches there where There's a couple rhino, and one of them was poached, so many months before, and it's just sad. You drive by the site. And they're just such a majestic animal.
Dude, they're so badass.
Oh,
they're the best.
They're so cool looking. They're like, just so archaic looking, but just tanks. And we ran into 2 black rhinos while we were in Zimbabwe. You just never see them, and it's just so cool. And if they turn around and just got mad at you, you'd be done.
No, dude, it's so fast.
No, it's just such a cool looking animal. But
it's an armored vehicle with a huge spear coming out of its face. Like, it's crazy.
I thought, I was nervous around the elephant in Cape Buffalo, but those guys are like, we don't get too close because nothing's going to stop a rhino. Well, it's kind of like an elephant too, but
it's crazy. They're nuts.
They're just nuts, and just what a cool animal. So but got to flood the market, get rid of that. There's that huge demand. Flood it, get it out there, and just get it legal coming out, because then poachers are going to stop.
Yes.
If you can go out there and buy it affordably, there's no point to poach them, because a poacher can get, I think, upwards of $5,000 or $10,000, and it's like they can live very comfortably.
One horn?
For one horn.
Jeez.
They can live very comfortably.
That goes a long ways.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, huge. They're set for, and that's why they risk their life to do it. Because they can live like a king for a long time. So, just get that out there, because you can dehorn, grow it back, and rhinos need it for part of, just their genetics, what they do with it, the rubbing, there's a lot to it. But if it saves the species to have some get them, cut every once in a while.
I think if rhinos could talk, they would be like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Just cut it off. To save the species, this is what people want so bad. Okay, fine.
If you told me shave the beard and our species will be saved, okay,
yeah,
shave my beard.
There's a bunch of dudes in China that use beard hairs as an aphrodisiac. You can either get killed by poachers, or you can just shave your beard and give it to them and sell it to them. And it's like, okay, I'll just shave my beard, dude. No big deal.
Easiest decision ever, right?
Okay, our people will stop getting murdered and stuff for this. Totally. It makes sense. I'll figure it out without it for a bit until it grows back. It's it's just, it is, because Stuart, he talked about that in depth too when we were down there. He's like, he says the exact same thing. He's like, just flood the market. We have the horn. We have it. It's the fact that the black, or the black market is so powerful, because there's such a demand for it. It's like, we have the supply. We just need to figure it out, and we can, not only would it stop the poaching, but it also help the economy. So it's like, that's another win-win situation, but it's just the politics.
We saw it with Cecil the lion, right? There was that huge uproar, and now we're going to get a little political with this, but Obama was the worst thing to happen to lion hunting ever. When he put the kibosh on lion hunting after Cecil, that legal hunt, we had, there was the byproduct of the lion trade. So American hunter go over there, hunt a lion, they want to get the skull, they want to get the cape, that was great, but the bones and other things, that went overseas to Asia. And when we put the kibosh on lion hunting imports into the country, Americans said, well, I'm not going to spend all that money to go hunt a lion then. There's no point.
Yeah, can't even bring him back.
Can't bring him back. So I remember the first time I was over there, my PH was showing me pictures of lions with the heads and the paws cut off, because that's what they wanted. So they said, well, they're still – we literally started the poaching industry or made it a lot larger when Obama said we're not going to be able to bring in lions. So they still want their byproducts. They're going to go out and start poaching lions. And it totally changed the lion industry, and then it kind of also brought out the whole concept of CBL hunting and changed that. So that one incident, when you try and think, when you don't know and you think something and you make a bad call, the repercussions that had for the lion population in Africa, both wild managed, wild lion, just captive bred, everything. It just, the ramifications are just some people don't think. They don't understand it.
That's why I hate politicians so much, because it's like they're so good at making rash decisions based on emotion. It's like, dude, I get that people are pissed. I get that. But take this time to educate the masses rather than just be like, I agree with you. This is terrible. Let's fucking ban it then. This is dumb. It's like, dude, you don't get it. The ramifications behind it. Politicians are so bad at looking at the unintended consequences of their decision making. They're good at making decisions on the spot. I shouldn't say good at it. They make rash decisions on the spot based on emotion. They don't. Either they're not being fully, either they're being disingenuous about it, or they're just not thinking. One or two. I don't know what it is, but probably the more disingenuous aspect of things, like when they're getting yelled at by certain voters and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, I have to make a decision or to justify my job. It's like, dude, or you could, the right decision is rarely the easy decision. It's like, but you need to make the right decision. Like, this is dumb. Like, what you're doing and the unintended consequences of your actions is hurting so many people. So many people. So it's like, dude, get out of here.
And now with so many towing the party line more than anything, are they really there for the people? Or are they there just to pull the party line? Are they going to do what's right? Probably not.
Probably not.
No,
and they're all the same. Like, they're just it's annoying.
This is where I
fucking
tug that history, degree line of mine, right? Like, our founders never intended people to be career politicians.
No.
Never supposed to happen. So term limits, yes, needs to happen.
Well, they never even thought about it, dude. It's like back in the 200 years ago, the founding fathers, when they're writing the Constitution and all that shit, it's like they weren't thinking like, oh yeah, people are going to be a senator for 50 years. They never jinx. Nice. They never thought about that. They're like, well, this is an inconvenience. Like, it's a service that you have to do. Like, someone has to do it. Like, they didn't look at it as like a career path or a get rich quick scheme. They didn't think about it like that. They're like, well, someone's got to do it, and they're not going to want to do it for forever. Like, that's silly. There's so much. It's so stressful, and it's it doesn't pay well at the time. It's one of those things where it didn't make sense to do it forever.
Yeah, but a lot of people wouldn't want to do it because it was considered. Obviously you get paid less. It was almost a downgrade for what they were doing. Especially from the elite. Now it is considered the elite, and it was never meant to be that way.
No, it is really meant for people that they have their life. Kind of got their life put together beforehand. Maybe they, were farming or whatever. They're successful in other aspects. Like, okay, now I got to go do my service, and they're go be a senator or a politician for a bit and figure it out and drive this country forward and make good decisions. But now it's just like, I don't know. It's so, oh man, it's just so far away from what this country was built on. It's insane.
I love people that were not politicians. And sometimes you need a businessman to get the world on track, get the country on track.
Right.
But people that are not politicians coming into it, I fully believe that's that was the intention of the founding fathers. And they set up the House to be your kind of common House, and the Senate was supposed to be a little more experienced. That's why we have the terms that we do in those, and never meant to just be career in the House of Representatives, let alone career in the Senate. Nuts. God, it's crazy when you think about it. They're doing it, and then how much money? Like, oh, you had 29,000 when you went into it, and now you have 29 million. Come on,
dude! I know $175,000 is what a senator gets paid. I think it's like that's decent,
plus their staff,
let's face
plus their
it,
war chest. And
I there's no way I could if I worked a job that paid $175,000, I wouldn't be worth $29 million in like 30 years. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing, dude? What are you guys doing here?
There's a couple websites out there that because you have to report, obviously, their stock trades and all that, right?
Sure.
So I know there's websites out there now where you can see what Congress is doing with their trades, and that's how they make their business. They'll tell you what they do because, again, come on, it's like you're making the moves right at the perfect time. Like,
Yeah,
so many of them.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like Nancy Pelosi's husband, he's like the best day trader ever known, man.
God,
He's better than Warren Buffett and everyone.
Tell me there's not insider knowledge in that one.
He's just very good at what he does. All right, so
and I'll go both sides here. And going back to like Mitch McConnell, like how long has he been there? Like, come on, man, just pass it off. Get someone new in there. We need new blood, right? Like Dan Crenshaw down in Texas, the up and coming. You need just some new blood coming into the fold. That's going to bring life back to the parties. And I'd love to be middle ground. I really like right now. We're as divisive as I've ever been in my life, right?
Oh, for sure.
But I'd love there to be middle ground again, so we can come together and come across Al instead of being so divisive. But it's got to be new blood, just be open to conversations and not pull the damn party lines.
Jeez, Pete, knock it off, you two. Sorry, we had two people walk in. They're making a lot of racket back there.
I heard this conversation and said I need to get in on that.
Right? Yeah. Start talking politics.
Politics. Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner. How many family members we don't talk to now because of politics?
Start talking about politics, and Lee starts throwing fucking chairs across the room. But no, you're absolutely right, and I agree with all of that. It's like it's sad. It's sad, but what a lot of people say is like, what do you do? Just I'm trying to just focus more on myself and what I can do around in my life. But I do like to talk about it every once in a while, especially with being a gun podcast. And there is inherently we're going to talk politics every once in a while because there's the gun issue is so political. and it comes in cycles, but it's constantly in cycle. It seems like where it's like I had to sit here and justify our rights to these fucking cowards. It sucks.
It's hitting me near and dear right now. So I live in Illinois, right? So we have we have one of the most draconian laws that went into effect in the country. Mm-hmm. So as of January 1st, the year before that, any semi-automatic rifle that was capable of holding more than 10 rounds, any semi-automatic pistol was capable of holding more than 15. And the way it was written was capability or being able to be converted. So it was almost 10/22s technically fall into
fucking
that. Right?
Everything, dude.
Everything falls into anything 50 caliber. So if you couldn't buy it after a certain date, and then you had a year to be able to register everything. That included magazines. Mm-hmm. How many 30-round AR mags you got? Every single one of them's got to be registered. They're not even serial numbered, but you had to call the Illinois State Police, go online, and you had to register all these mags. But then you looked at a rifle like it said being able to be converted, and the language was that as such that we asked the Illinois State Police multiple times, like, how much is easily? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? Because they sell magazines that are 60 rounds for 10/22. You can get a 20 round mag for it. So like, well, does that constitute on 10/20? It's the most widely available 22 rifle out there.
Yeah.
So is it? We still don't know in Illinois. We still don't know if that's actually
because
part of it.
They didn't write the laws to actually fix anything. They're just
nothing. It's the legal gun owners have more, just like everything else. You have a lot more to have to deal with, pulling stuff away. But I feel bad for, I had a fair amount of stuff, right? But, you get these young guys. Now we're saying that, hey, you got this young guy that's coming out of school, coming out of the Army. He can't buy an AR-15 in Illinois. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Like, their Second Amendment was literally written to protect us from the government to be able to have what they have. Mm-hmm. I don't all this bullshit about like, oh well, they didn't have AR-15s back then. Well, we also didn't have some of the platforms and news agencies and internet too. So does that mean it's not protected by the First Amendment either? Like, you have to evolve with it. Mm-hmm. And the Second Amendment guaranteed us the right to have the same type of implements, firearms, that the military had. So just in case, like, it's there to protect the people from the government. It's not there for the government to control. Right. And they all too often don't think about that.
No. And the thing is, too, like, you hear the conversation and the recycled, jargon that a lot of people use to justify them being anti-whatever type of gun, whether it's an AR-15 or whatever. These quote-unquote like assault rifles, right? But when you look back and like when the Constitution was getting written, I think it was James Madison. He wrote the Constitution. He's like the father of the Constitution, right? And he was a Federalist, and you had the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. And the Anti-Federalists were like, we don't want a Constitution because that's going to give the federal government way too much fucking power. We just don't want any Constitution. We don't want any of that shit. We just want to be America. We all want to be sovereign territories in this country that we trade together. Basically, almost like each state was its own separate country that works together for a common cause of the whole, right? Yep. So the Anti-Federalists didn't want the Constitution, but the Federalists ended up winning. Madison went on a huge, speaking tour and everything else, and got a lot of states convinced, to adopt the Constitution and sign it in and everything else. And in order to but the Anti-Federalists with their argument was like, okay, we'll back the Constitution. We'll back this as long as immediately after the signing of this document, we come out with the Bill of Rights, right? What it became to known. But we need these amendments need to get passed immediately after ratification of the Constitution in order to protect ourselves for these things. And Madison was like, well, we don't need that because it's common sense. Like at the time, we don't need to write that down. And after bickering back and forth and arguing and everything else, and Madison eventually the Federalists came to realization, like, okay, well, yeah, maybe this does make sense in order to write this stuff down just to make sure. Like, we don't know how long the country's going to last, but we should probably write it down. If we're going to write out the Constitution and explicitly write out the powers of the federal government, then we should probably write something separate and have these amendments to protect the citizens from the fucking federal government.
The people from
so
the government.
It's like, and the first thing that the British did when the Revolution War started off, they were confiscating guns. Yep, and that's what really started the whole fucking thing. So it's like, yeah, it obviously makes sense. Like the Second Amendment was written. It wasn't like a well-regulated militia part and everything else. They could construe that and say like, yeah, well, right to bear arms within the militia. It's like, no, it's like it is separated. Like it is like we are entitled to a well-regulated militia that's not controlled by the federal government, and we're also entitled to bear arms.
Right.
So
keep them
for the people.
We just had Bruin and Heller, with the Supreme Court too, where they just ruled like, no, we are protected by this. And we're seeing like Oregon just did another one too, where Illinois is one of the worst right now. But it's like we have these Supreme Court decisions, which should, kind of set precedent. And they're going around it. They're trying to find loopholes. So obviously, these have worked their way through the federal courts, the appellate court. In Illinois, we're never going to win any of that.
No.
We actually, Judge McGlynn, he sided with it, and he was pretty smart with him, and he put an injunction in place that was overruled by the appellate. So Illinois Supreme Court, of course, just dud, nothing there. So we're going to the Supreme Court with it. There's a variety of lawsuits, and hopefully it just gets overturned. But frankly, it just needs to, because right now they want to know who has guns. We don't want people to know what you have. Yeah. If we bought it on 4473, anyway. You don't need to know how many magazines I have. There's no point for that.
Yeah.
So again, hopefully it gets overturned. So the guys that are coming out, getting of age, and they could start buying guns themselves, because the most popular gun in America, the AR-15, they cannot own. Like it's just incredible. What pistols out there? Most of the pistols now, magazine capacity, that's a trend. It's 15 rounds. It's kind of like it's a subcompact Micro 9 now is almost that, right?
That's just that's the standard now.
That's like the standard. My carry is like, well, that's 14 rounds at least. And, that's a P365. Right. I probably get more in there now too. I haven't looked lately. But it's a joke, and it just needs to change, because you got to vote with your feet sometimes. You don't want to have to move, but I'm not beyond that. For what I've learned, like sometimes if Illinois doesn't change, you got to go to a state that matters.
Got to hop the river, dude.
Well, I'm going over to Wisconsin. I'm smack dab in the middle, north of Illinois. I'm a baseball throw from Wisconsin.
Fuck.
And we need some help turning that from purple back to red. So.
I know, right? Yeah, dude, Wisconsin's scaring me.
Thank God. Last election we got Johnson in, but Heber's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was going to be surrounded pretty soon here. It's like, dang, dude. But it is kind of weird, because I was getting redder and redder every year, it seems like. It's like I feel like there's something to that. When the states around us are turning bluer, it's kind of like, wow.
A little red there.
They're just like, well, we're just going to jump to Iowa then, making the state redder. So it's like.
And as long as the exodus from blue states that go to red states, if they learn from their past and do not vote the same way, you always fear that with Texas, right? So many Californians going to Texas, like, learn why it is the way it is. You left a shithole. Learn why Texas is what it is, and make sure you vote appropriately.
Yeah, don't turn this into a shithole.
Don't ruin everything. And I like to think, we're seeing some of that. Florida growing, it's getting redder and redder. Ohio turning red, and Michigan, I don't know if it's a lost cause. Minnesota, I don't know if it's a lost cause. Wisconsin, we got to try and get back. Yeah, figure it out. Pennsylvania, that's enough said there.
Yeah, right. No shit. So, I know it's getting too far east now. So
everyone just got to come out and vote with their head and be smart, not just their heart. You got to vote with your head. Don't want to hear anymore. Mean tweets, bad. No more of that. Vote smart. Like, when was inflation at its at
vote
a
based
point?
On policy? Let's do that.
Policy. What actually happened? What was good for the economy? What was good for the country? Just be proud to be an American. That's about this industry. Right. Like, we're all proud to be Americans. We can get mad, a little bit of road rage, mad, and someone driving next to you being too loud. But man, when it comes down to the colors, like, we'll back each other if we stand for the flag.
The thing is about this country that I would love to see it go back to is the fact that it's like, I'd love to see it go back to looking at the country and everyone inside of it as a family. Where it's like, I can fucking get in super heated arguments with my brother and sister, but I still love them. We can disagree on things. The baseline is love, right? So we love each other. So therefore we can get in heated arguments, because we know that the base isn't going to be broken down. We're comfortable with each other. And it's like, that's kind of how we used to be. We used to argue based on, policies and argue about policies. We can do that all day, but as long as it's all based in like love and respect for one another, then you can do that and still walk away from an argument or a disagreement and be like, I still love you. I think you're dumb. I think you're dumb, but I still love you. It's like, it was all coming out of a place of love and respect. You can still do that. So, but now you can't disagree. You can't disagree respectfully anymore. It's like, you don't agree with me, you're a fucking piece of shit, then, dude. It's like, you suck.
I'd say one side probably worse than the other on it.
Yeah,
I can listen to people, but the second I try and bring up something, supported by facts or not, it's facts, not feelings. But no, hands down, no, can't accept that. And I know it happens on both sides.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So not to keep the divisive tone going, but it's so tough to have any kind of debate. And one of our suppliers. That actually makes powder for Novix. Great company. that I have great conversations with them. They're actually from England. They emigrated here, the American dream, right? They left England, didn't like what's happened there, coming here, American dream. And, we differ on some policies, but, they're good industry people.
Oh, yeah.
But we can talk with them, and I can have really good, conversations, debates, but we differ on this stuff. And I was like, man, I really enjoy talking to him for that, because he's not someone that shuts down, gets angry, starts yelling at you. Literally, just how many videos you see is you're at a protest and they don't agree, they just start screaming at you. Like, well, that's how you lost the argument.
Yeah,
right? You lost the debate. It's done. Nothing's going to come out of this.
And we're not moving past this part. All right. Nice talk. Moving on.
So just like got to bring it back together. The whole United We Stand. And I'm a huge patriot. Right? I think we, both of us very much are. And I love my Memorial Day. Truly understanding the meaning of it. But I put my red, white, and blue bunting out. I got a flag on my yard 24/7, 365. It is an American household. And it's like, I have pride in my state, from Illinois, pride in it, a little bit less now, but still do. Moved to North Carolina for a while, pride in that state, just pride in the country, and just need to bring it all back together and just say, hey, we're here, United We Stand. Greatest country in the world. I've traveled all over the world, worked all over Asia, been to Africa, been a lot of places. Man, not another country I'd rather live in and be a part of than America.
It's undeniable. Like
Undeniable.
America is the best country in the world to live in, no matter what. Like, I mean, we have, with there's a lot of issues, obviously, but it's still the best country to live in. And if you want to make something of yourself, if you can't do it in America, you can't do it anywhere. It's like it's a great country, and that's why I get so passionate about it too. Where it's like, I don't want to see it fall. It's like my little voice.
That's why you put your life on.
Yeah, if I can do anything to help, then that's what I feel like it's my duty to talk about this kind of shit every once in a while, at least. I don't like to base the whole podcast on it, but it's good to talk to touch on it here and there when it comes up, and not shy away from it. That's the thing. Is like, I don't shy away from like talking politics and religion, because it's like those are important subjects that need to be discussed, but you just got to figure out a good way to discuss them with people that differ. So that's how I feel about it. But
as long as you can be open with someone and be respectful, and they can be respectful back, then you can have it. And that's the best kind of conversations to have. I like to understand where they're coming from. I may not agree with it, but I'll listen to it. I'll understand it. People that disagree with me, I truly know why they think that way. I just think different. And somewhere along the way, we lost that reasoning of it's okay to think different. It's okay if you don't like. I don't eat fish. I just don't like it. There's no reason. I just don't, and that's okay, right? Now, politics, like, you don't like him for that reason. Okay, I can understand that, and that's okay. But you don't got to get in a fight over it. You don't got to say I'm a bad person. I'm a deplorable,
right?
Because I supported somebody that's against you. Like, come on, mudslinging just needs to stop. We don't need to be muckrakers.
Yeah, exactly. But let's shift a little bit and talk a little bit about Half Rack. We touched a lot on Novix and stuff and everything else, and I love talking about that stuff. But I do want to get to Half Rack as well.
Yeah, so Half Rack is kind of your all around hunting accessory brand. Like, we wanted to come out with a brand that quite frankly, you're not going to find it at Walmart. We wanted to bring something out that can go to the dealers, that can also be a little bit different. So we spent a lot of time, kind of thinking this through. And, my background, where I came from, there was holes in the marketplace for certain accessories. And we wanted to bring something cool out to the customer with neat branding that they weren't going to, dealers aren't going to compete with at these big box stores, and that offers something a little bit different. So, what we call our bow wing is our gear holder screw into the tree that, obviously holds your bow. We have a couple different lengths of it. So there's a lot of them out there on the market, right? But we're like, how do we make these things each a little bit different? Well, on the joint, we put a bolt, a 1/4-20 threaded screw, and we have a tension nut on it. So we wanted someone to be able to mount a GoPro, a cell phone mount cam, a thermocell. So we built this accessory that everyone's got the basic one of, and we put this 1/4-20 threading so they can add they can video themselves. They can put a thermocell on there if you're out in the South, especially. But that's one little different thing on our bow arm that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, for sure.
So we went down the line with a lot of our accessories. Say, how do we make this a little bit different? Our basic binocular harness. It's got quick detach. You don't got to deal with zip ties and split rings and all that. So quick detach on and off. And then we wanted to bring something out that looked a little different. So our our rifle and bow cases, we have two different series where you have your little more basic series. It's a 600 denier, but it's PVC back. So it's actually a waterproof material. Water will bead right off of it. Seams aren't sealed, stitches aren't sealed. But if it gets a little drizzle on there, it gets a little wet, it beads off. A lot of people don't do that. Then we have
our following.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect for that.
And, we're actually, that's another market we're going to push a little bit more in. But so it's not your waterproof, but hey, it can get a little wet and be okay.
Yep.
We have our WAZ gun case, which has kind of like a Boyd-esque look to it, where it's quilted canvas and it's got faux leather patches on there. But it's a great looking case, well padded, and it's like around $50 retail. Those Wildcats are like $20 retail. But yeah, just down the line, making your orange accessories, your balaclavas, your neck gaiters, gambrel and hoist systems. Trying to tweak everything to make it a little different, make it our own. And truly be geared towards, really, it started as a whitetail hunter. So our logo is, kind of like when you think that first buck you're going to shoot, if it's brown, it's down. If it's a legal one. So if you look at, our logo, it's nothing special. But yeah, it's half rack. Sometimes you'll shoot whatever you can get, and it's it's a little like 3-pointer, and that's kind of what we're aspiring to. Passing down the memories. You're going out for the first time. You need these items that every hunter needs. Your basic flag and tape, your gambrel. You're going out, and we have, one of our slogans is just fond memories. What you learned from your dad or you learned from your grandpa. These core accessories, get them out in the field. Every hunter needs them, and just a lot of pride into Half Rack for what it is. Just built to be a brand for the dealers, for the true users. You're not going to be competing with some of the big boys that are just chasing that best price, and we didn't want to do that at all. We wanted to kind of be true to ourselves. It's not going to be huge, but we want to make sure dealers have an option that's not like everyone else out there. That's got good branding. The hunter's really thinking about the product, but at the same time, it's cost competitive. So if you have a competitor in there, probably get you some better margin and just swap out that peg, whether it's a leather sling, it's a neoprene stretch sling. Everybody needs them. We all use them. We all have gun socks. We all have a lot of them. So it's all stuff that's needed.
And that's I was perusing your guys' website and stuff before you came in yesterday and stuff a little bit too. But that's one thing too. I've been looking around because I have a Ruger M77 Hawkeye that I just bought not too long ago. Controlled round feed. It's just a sexy looking rifle. I'm like, man, I need to get a really nice leather sling for it. I can't just slap a synthetic sling on this thing. Booth. Dude, I need to get, so I was looking at that and I saw that leather sling. I'm like, fuck, that's what I need. I need to get one of them.
And that's one where a lot of people that they add these cutouts and different things to. It's like, no, we want the classic leather sling. A little bit of stitching, a little bit of brand placement. Not huge in your face, but just really classic looking, but still have that leather sling option.
Yeah, no, it looks nice too.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we try to make it look good, but still, fill the categories as needed. On the flip side, we also want to push the bounds a little bit. So a couple new items we brought out this past year. We have what we call the meat lug. So there's a lot of coolers on the market. So this is a soft-sided, meat lug cooler, but it's designed for the deer hunter in mind. So it's 840 TPU, odor-resistant, chemical-resistant, 100% waterproof, insulated. It's got a fully waterproof garage-style zipper on top. But the size of it is designed so it can fit behind the seat of a car, like a pickup truck. It'll fit behind the seat of a pickup truck, but it holds like 90-some cans worth of storage. You can fit 2 doe, caped out with ice, 1 large buck caped out with ice in our large size, and there's still a little bit of room left.
Okay.
But won't hold stink, easy to clean, keeps ice for, ice retention is great. But also designed the back of the tail. The pickup truck. We put handles low on the side, so it's easy to slide in and out. Pull. We really thought about how do we make a soft-sided cooler really for the hunter. Then we said we're going to make a little brother for it. We bought out an airline compatible one. So the guy that's going to fly somewhere, he's going on that really cool hunt, wants to bring some back straps back with him, a little bit more meat. Going on a fishing trip, wants to bring it back, but he's got to use it as a carry-on. We have a carry-on compatible one that's
nice.
You can use through airport, and you're fine. We fly with it all over the place, but same thing. It's just scaled down a little bit, fits the 22-14-9 airline dimensions. We call those our meat lugs, but it's really a hunting design cooler. And another neat one we call the hunter hanger. So this one's made in the USA. It's made up in Wisconsin, but it's essentially a molded peg with a molded in bolt that goes to the wall, and you can hold your bow, you can hold your rifle, you can hold your tree stand gear. I have them all over the garage, down kind of in where I keep my trophies, but it can hold almost anything on there, but it's designed for hunters, by hunters. So we call it our hunter hanger, and it's got a peg stop on there. It's just definitely something you got to really check out. So the Half Rack hunter hanger, but just great for tree stand, bow, rifle, just well thought out. And that one's made in the USA. So really happy about that.
That's
one too.
Awesome. No, that's really cool. As it's one thing, because there's a couple other companies that are they're known just for like their accessory companies and stuff like that. But it seems like you guys, just perusing on the website and stuff too, you put a lot more thought and stuff, and you're not just like shotgun blasting a bunch of different accessories out there and stuff, and they all seem like they're like I said, I haven't handled any of them, but I think Kurt has a couple of your guys' products actually, and it just seems like a tier above accessory wise, like quality, I guess, accessory quality wise is what I'm getting at.
We're aiming to be a little bit above, and that's why we put a little more emphasis on what material we're going to use, what additional features we're going to have, but always still conscious, from my background going, we need dealers to be able to make margin on this too. We want people, end user consumers to be able to not break the bank and buy some of this stuff. So, our goal was we want to be as competitive as anyone else out there, or more competitive at both, retail pricing, and then even for the dealers too. You want to be able to go to your local shop, and you want them to make money too, right? So everyone, want to go online and buy it too, but if you go to your local bow shop, you want to have them have accessories so they can make money. They can keep that shop open. So that's what our goal is, thinking less on our end. We're like, how do we make sure that they make their margin? They can still sell it at a good price, that you're buying it, you're happy, and you're happy that you got something. Hey, this is cool and different. But it's, everybody needs these. I need these. Well, maybe this one's a little bit better because it's a better finish, better material, stronger price. Everything just adds up to say Half Rack is the winner here.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's cool. You guys definitely have some really cool looking products on there. So, we're at about an hour and a half now, and I don't want to take up all your time. We're all here to work, so right. It does. You kind of lose track a little bit. I should have someone here with like a timer or something like that, so I don't go too long and keep you away from your booth.
Yeah, that's what I say. God, I've been probably looking for me. Like, where's Trevor? Like, he's having a good time. They got it man down there. Yeah, I can't believe that much time's gone by. It's been an awesome conversation.
Yeah, this has been great. It's been a really good time. So I do appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you wanted to throw out there? Did we miss anything?
Yeah, I think we talked about everything, but I would love anybody listening, to check out Novix Treestands and halfrack.us and novixoutdoors.com. Give us a look, and really appreciate the support, and thank you for having us on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This has been a good time. I'm glad I got to catch you and get to know you a little bit.
Likewise. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
It's been a good time. So, all right, guys, appreciate you listening.